have you ever noticed this? The second that message drops in the group chat, hey, let's get everyone back together, it's like a switch flips. Suddenly, you've got two clear roles. First, there's the organizer. They instantly become a motivational speaker, an event manager, and, let's be honest, a bit of an emotional blackmailer, all in one. And then you have the avoider, the master of the scene receipt, followed by complete and utter radio silence. So what's really going on here? Well, this is where we get into the psychology of it. It all boils down to where you are in your life. Because for some people, looking back feels amazing. For others, it feels kind of threatening. So, let's break this down. Here's the first big reason for this divide. For anyone who feels like they're doing pretty well, that they've made it, the past just doesn't feel scary anymore. A reunion stops being a test and starts feeling more like a celebration. A victory lap where you get to show everyone the highlight reel. You can almost hear their internal monologue, right? It's something like, yes, I made it. This is going to be so much fun. They're all going to see how far I've come. It's not just about catching up. It's a chance to feel good about your progress. But for someone who's still figuring things out, that same event kicks off a totally different thought process. It's more like, what am I even supposed to say I've been doing for the last 10 years? It's just this wave of dread, this pressure to have a perfect answer to a question you don't even have the answer to yourself. Now for the second reason, and this is the part nobody really wants to admit out loud. Let's just be honest. Reunions are basically status checkpoints. We can't help it. It's called social comparison theory. We are literally wired as human beings to measure ourselves against other people, and a reunion is like the perfect arena for that. It's an informal audit of everyone's life. And you can see how this all breaks down. The person feeling successful, they're ready to go. They're relaxed, excited, they know their score. But the person feeling behind, the whole thing is just a minefield of questions they don't want to answer. And that anxiety is what leads to that very sudden, very mysterious scheduling conflict. And this brings us to our third and final point, what confidence actually does to us socially. Now, when I say aggressive, I don't mean it in a bad way. Think of it as being socially forward. When people feel good about their lives, they actually seek out these kinds of connections. They're the ones saying, come on, it'll be so much fun. Because for them, it really will be. And this gets right to the heart of it. When life is going well, you want witnesses. You want to share those memories and reconnect. But when life feels heavy, the absolute last thing you want is an audience. You want privacy, you want distance, and you really don't need any more reminders of the expectations you feel like you haven't met. So here is the most crucial thing to remember. When someone avoids a reunion, it is almost never about laziness or that they don't care. It is a protective instinct. It's literally emotional self-defense. They're protecting their self-esteem from a situation that feels like it could do some damage. And you know what? This pattern isn't just for school reunions. Once you start looking for it, you'll see this dynamic playing out everywhere all the time. You see it at weddings, right? One friend is working the room and another has become fascinated by the wallpaper in the corner. You see it in group chats. One person tries to rally the troops and gets nothing but a few laughing emojis in response. And you see it with home visits. The come over anytime versus the classic, my place is such a mess, which is really just code for I'd rather you not see my life right now. So really, it all boils down to this. One person shows up with stories to tell, the other shows up with excuses. One person says, we should totally do this more often, and the other is silently thinking, never, again. And you know what? Both of those reactions are perfectly human. Okay, but let's put the jokes aside for a second, because underneath all of this, there's a much more important, much more human truth. If you are the person dodging these invites, please remember this. Avoiding a reunion doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're still in the process. You're still becoming. And on the flip side, let's try to see the organizer with a little more compassion. Maybe their pushiness isn't arrogance. Maybe it's just relief. Maybe they're just really proud that they survived whatever they went through, and they want to celebrate that. So the takeaway here is pretty simple, really. Just be gentle with yourself if you're the one avoiding the get-together. And if you're the one pushing for it, try to be kind to those who just aren't ready yet. Everybody is on a different timeline. And maybe that's the real definition of success here. It isn't about having a perfect life to report back on. It's about getting to a place where you feel okay enough just to show up at all, exactly as you are.